Alrighty guys, welcome to part 1 of our 12-step transition blanket border round. And where I left you off was, you did your last stitch there. Yep. Let's say for argument's sake, you did your last stitch there. What I want you to do is chain 1, turn your work, and do your stacked single crochet like normal. So in with a stitch, you know how to do that. You've been doing them all along. Or you can chain your 3, it doesn't matter. It's a double crochet that we need there. Okay, that is classified as a double crochet for this row, yeah. And you're going to do a second double crochet in the very next stitch. You're already in this stitch, so be careful not to place it in there again. Go right over to that next stitch with a double crochet. We're going to do single crochets across here. And in case you've forgotten, a single crochet is hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both those loops, single crochet US, double crochet UK, that's 1. Go into the next 2, next 3, and the next 4. All right, you've done 2 double crochets, 4 singles. Now you're going to do 2 double crochets, 4 singles. So 1 double crochet, US, and treble UK, second double crochet in the next stitch, and then 4 singles. 1, 2, my yarn is caught, sorry guys, 3, and 4. And that is your pattern across. All right, 2 double crochets, 1, whoops, and 2. That was almost a half double, don't do that. And 4 singles across. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm not going to let you sit there and watch me do this. I would like for you to do 2 double crochets, 4 singles, 2 double crochets, 4 singles, so on all the way across your piece. Get to your last 4 singles there. Wait for me there, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row, and you would have noticed by the time you got to your last 4 single crochets that you have 3 stitches left. All right, so you need to do double crochet in each of those 3 stitches. All right, don't forget it's because we have 129 stitches and not 128. Yeah, so continue that last stitch like so. Remove your stitch marker. Chain 1, turn your work. You're going to do your stacked single crochet, or whatever you want to call it, standing, double, or you can do your chain 3. Yep, as normal. And guess what? In each stitch, all you are doing, you're already in that stitch, yeah, is placing a double crochet into every stitch all the way across. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but just keep popping your double crochets into each stitch all the way across. All right, but before you go and continue that row, I want to let you know what you're going to do here is your 2 rows of double crochet, pretending like you're starting a new set when really you're not. You're closing up this set. So your job now is to do 2 rows of double crochet. So do 1 row double crochet, chain 1, turn, stacked single crochet or a double crochet, whatever you want to call it, and then do your double crochets all the way across. So 2 rows of double crochet. Do those now. Meet me back here and get ready for border rounds. Get excited. Go ahead and do your 2 rows now, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, so the blanket is really big now, so I've folded up into a million rows there. But just letting you know, I have finished my last 2 rows of double crochet, which, you know, closes up your transition for this colour. Now you see stitch markers here, that was just for count. Make sure you have 129 stitches across the row. And again, if you don't, we can adjust that when we're ready to do the border rounds itself. which we are starting with a base round. And this is what I like to call a base round. So I do that with all my borders. Whenever I do border rows, I always do base rows or base rounds. Okay, so for us, we are going to start making our chain 1 only, and then we're going to turn our work as though we're going to do a normal row across your stitches, which we are. We're going to pop our hook into the same stitch that we are in with a single crochet, and that's hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, pop your stitch marker in there. Gorgeous. That is the center of your first corner. We're going to add a second single crochet in that stitch right there, same space. Yeah. Now you're going to place a single crochet into every stitch across this side. So into the next stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Into your next, and before you go on, the corner of every round should have 3 single crochets. We've only got 2 here. We're going to place our third one in there when we come back. All right, but in the meantime, single crochet into every stitch in the round, not all the way in the round, just get to our next corner. And if you don't want to use your stitch markers for count, you don't have to keep them there. They're just there to help me for count. All right, so what I want you to do, simple, is single crochet all the way across, get to your very first corner right there. Meet me there once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this section, or this side if you will. Let's get a nice close-up. And I asked you to get to your stitch marker stitch right there, or at least your corner stitch, your very first stitch that you started with from the previous row. Alright, so now what you're going to do is hop into that stitch with your stitch marker with a single crochet, remove it for a minute, keep it handy, you'll need it, because you're going to do a second single crochet in that stitch, same stitch you're in, and then you're going to do a third single crochet in the same stitch. So what you've done initially is turned the corner. Alright, so now you're going to be working along your side stitches here. Now all you have to remember when working along the side stitches is placing 2 single crochets into every double section, but it's a little bit difficult to see. All right, so we are initially here, that's the top of our double crochet row that we're in, so that's 1 single crochet if you had to count it. Your next one will be in your very next space you come to, which will be there. All right, that's the space you're in. You'll see your next space, do a single crochet there. Then you're going to go into that space right there, 1, and then 1 into the big space or into the stitch. If you prefer to put yours in the stitch and they're not so tight, you can put yours into the stitch, okay? And then you've done your 1 row, your second row. So your third row is here. You get 1 into that small space and 1 into your stitch or your second space. There's no rules to how we do this section, yeah? So 1 into the next space and just find the spaces and 1 into your next. And when you come to that last space right there, either you put it in the space or you pop it in the stitch. Whatever you want to do is up to you. So we're going to pull it up for a minute. And you're going to grab a couple of stitch markers because you want to count from this corner. So ignore your stitch marker stitch and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Pop any stitch marker in there, like so, and do it again. Oops, that didn't close. Let's try that again. So grab another stitch marker and you're going to do the same. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we were lucky enough to have 20 stitches on this side of your cream. all right? Later, and let's bring this out a little. Later, when you're ready to complete this side of the cream, you have to make sure you have your let's try that again, your 20 stitches across from that stitch right up to your next stitch, all right? And we'll talk about that when we get there. So no matter what you do on one side, you must do on the other side for the count. That's all you need to worry about. Then later we'll worry about the count for the border. Now the actual count for the border, and I'll tell you now so you're prepared for it, needs to be a multiple of 2 plus 1. So right now we have 129 stitches across. Don't worry too much about it now. I'll help you out when we get to the counting later. All right. Now there's 2 things you can do here. One, you can continue to use your cream all the way across, or you could change to the lemon. I'm just about to say gold, but the gold's here, to the lemon just for this round. Now let me explain that. When you're looking at your work, this is the wrong side of our work, yeah? This is the right side of our work. We are doing our single crochet round on the wrong side. The close-up round is on the wrong side. So if you look carefully at this round, it kind of looks wrong. If you were to place, now just hold it there for a minute. You don't have to do this part, right? Let's just say I'm ready to do this part. I do my 2 single crochets into every space. Don't do this bit. I just want to show you first what happens. 1 and 2. I'm just making this up, right? So if you were to do that, it would look perfect on this side, which, because we're on the wrong side of our work, but it's the right side of the stitch. When you turn it over, now you don't have to worry about this too much, but I do. I'm a little bit pedantic. It shows that that is awkwardly not coloured properly, okay? So later when we do a single crochet round afterwards, when we turn our work and do it afterwards, we're coming back this way, that would be a lot neater for colour change. So then you can continue to do your whole round in cream. Don't worry about it if you don't want to stress about this like I do, because I'm pedantic. Just continue your single crochets in the cream. But I would like to change to the lemon. Alrighty, so what I meant by changing to the lemon, we go back to the stitch with our stitch marker. I'm going to give you a nice close-up here. Yeah. So what we're going to do is remove that stitch marker stitch for a minute and undo that last stitch. And we're going to complete it by using the lemon. So we're going to start the single crochet in there. So you start your single crochet. Let's move that out the way so you can see what I'm doing. It doesn't blur. Start your single crochet like so. Grab your cream at the back for a minute and then grab your new lemon colour. Pop it over your hook and pull the loop through using the lemon. Now what I want you to do is grab both the lemon and the cream. Now normally this needs to be in front, these stitches, which we'll do in a minute. Okay, we won't worry about that now. We'll do it at the end of the row, okay? So in the meantime, you've got your lemon. You're going to start your lemon stitch now. So you go into the stitch, the very top stitch of your lemon colour, and do a normal single crochet. Don't do it too loose like I just did. Make sure you tighten that up a bit. Not too tight. I just pulled that too tight, didn't I? Come on, Mary. So there's your first single crochet. Your second one will go into your very next space. That's one row of our lemon colour. So that's your second one. We're going to continue along the way. We are going to be doing some 2 together, all right, to close up an area. But not only that, we're also going to be changing, even though we're doing single crochet here, as we go further in, this is one of those stitches that go indented a little bit. So your blanket kind of goes this straight and then goes in a little bit and then keeps going straight. That's the sort of stitch this is. So you can also do, to straighten this up, you can do half double crochets as well. So your first few stitches, we've got our single crochets. We're going to do right there, we're going to do a third single crochet in that one there. Now, the next 2 stitches are single crochet 2 together. And you're going to go into that next top stitch there, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, into the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then you're going into that thickness right there, the full post, with a single crochet. You're going to stop there. So now we're going to do the half double, but we're not only doing half double, we're also doing 2 together as well. Yeah. So yarn over your hook into the stitch, pull a loop through. Yeah. Yarn over your hook into the next space, pull a loop through, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over your hook, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, I nearly did a single, do a half double crochet in the actual post of the next stitch, or the same stitch if you think about it, yeah? And then half double crochet in that next gap there. And then we're doing a half double crochet 2 together again. So we pop into the small stitch, pull a loop through, and then we yarn over our hook into the space, pull a loop through, 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook. And you're going to do 1 more half double crochet into that space, that stitch right there. And then we're changing back to single crochets, or change back the minute you see your edge starting to straighten out. I believe it's straightened out, so I'm going to change back. So now we're going into that stitch there, right? So when I said to you in your previous steps that we're going to straighten our edges, this is how we do it. We single crochet across. When we get to edges that are really indented, that's where we do a half double crochet. All right, I hope this is making sense. It's just straightening your edge up. That's all this is doing. All right, so now we're going into the next stitch there with a single crochet, yeah, or space if you will. And these 2 stitches right here, the top stitch, pull through, yeah, into the space, pull through, 3, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Go into the post with a single crochet. Go into the gap there with a single crochet. Into your stitch, you don't have to do the across here because now we are on our double crochet rows. So you just go into the stitch, 1 there, and you put 1 right in that space. 1 into the stitch, 1 into the space, and we're up to the gold. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to do a gold one there. But once again, we're going to count these stitches across. Now, it won't be as much as these. It doesn't matter. There's no rules, but we will put our stitch marker on that cream. Remember that cream was, 10 across there and 10 across there. Yeah. So now you're going to do the same. Count your next 10. So 1, 2, 3, I'm going to count it properly this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, it doesn't matter if it lands on a half double or a single, as long as you are counting your stitches. Okay, I don't think it's 10 there, but anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's not. It'll be 9. Okay. And the rows are going to be different because the actual rows we did here are different. Like these ones here will probably be more. Yeah. All right. So once again, we are not only going to do the next stitch in the lemon, and I'm going to change back to my yellow. Do you want to do yours in the cream and not worry about those marks on that side, on the wrong side of your work? By all means, do yours in the cream, but I'm changing to my yellow. All right, so, and by the way, if you wanted to cut your cream now, you can. That cream, that first set that we did, we're going to add another cream eventually, but not now. And we are going to single crochet in the lemon stitch right there, pull a loop through, hold it there, grab your yellow. If you're using your cream, just single crochet in it. All right, and just pull your tails at the back while you're working. This is an easy section because they're all double crochets across. So you know how to do that. You've got a single crochet up the top, one in your stitch like so. Yeah, single crochet in the actual top part of the stitch and one in, we'll say the stitch, but it's actually the post here. Yeah, and one in the post, one in the stitch, one in the post. And you know what? I'm going to pop this on fast, get to here, and I'll meet you there in just a moment. And off we go. All right, so before we place the single crochet in that last one, we're going to change to the orange before we do that, because we're going to start there and make sure that the orange starts in there because it's quite a dramatic color change here. So you can keep going if you're using the cream, but I'm going to go and grab my orange. But before I do, I'm going to cut this light yellow because there's too much on the table. Oh, there's too much on the table. All right, so that's cut. Grab your lemon, your yellow at the back. Your yellow at the back, like so. Oh, by the way, if your tails are really long here, you could have used these. Now, we're going to talk about that as well. We can do it now. Ordinarily, I would have kept these tails long enough to do a single crochet row across. Ordinarily, but I didn't want to confuse everyone. So let's just put all tails at the back and add a new orange like that. Pull the loop through, holding all tails in the back of your hand like so, and just single crochet into your first, where are we? Now we want to go into that first stitch right there. It's a bit tight, but it's there. Yeah. And then again into this post right here. You can go in the space if you're finding the post awkward, but I do like the post. Now the bonus here is we can go right across, but we have these little bumps here. Let's just do this part together, the first part. We go into the next stitch and the next post into your next stitch. Is that where the bump is? Yeah, right there. That's where the bump is there. And then into your post. And there's your bump again there. No, that's for the bump there. That's the stitch and that's your bump. It's a little awkward here. Just take your time. If you're finding it's way too much in one spot, don't fill them all up. Skip the bumps, yeah? But we're going to see how we go. We'll see how many stitches it makes across. If it's too many stitches in the one section, it's going to come across too wavy later when we do our border rounds. All right, so I did ask you to go into each stitch across. I've got one last stitch there, and I'm just going to have a look at it. If it looks too full here, it looks okay. It looks okay. I'm going to leave that. If it was too full here, I would have taken it undone, because what will happen is it'll look like that later when we're trying to work with it. It'll be too bulky in one section, but that looks great, yeah? All right, so now what we're going to do is attach our red. I've misplaced the red and I don't know what I've done with it. I've turned the house upside down, shaken it up a little bit, and you know the usual stuff, but I can't find it. So I'm going to put a red that I had in stock, which is the same colour but not the same dye lot. So it's a little bit brighter than this one. Never mind, it happens. Now again, if you've got a lot of your red here, you could use your own red that's attached to do your single crochets across. I'll show you how to do that. Let's just pretend that you're using your own red. We'll go in here, drop the orange and grab that red. Yeah, if you've got a lot of red, pull the red through like so, go into your first stitch and work along there. I don't have a lot of red, so I'll be using my other red. That's the wrong shade. This is why you should never, ever take your work out of the box when you're not using it, yeah? Drop that. We have a tub for these things on purpose, yeah? Drop that colour and just pull that tail through, just grabbing all the tails you have here. Every tail you have that's hanging out of this area here, grab it. Jump straight into the maroon, or red, sorry, I should say, and do a single crochet. Now, is this one of those sections? Yes, it is. It's one of those sections that literally turn in a little bit. So we're going to do a few stitches in single crochet. So there's your first one. Then you've got a second one right there. And I say right now we're going to start doing half double crochets. All right, so all you need to do is go into the next stitch. So yarn over your hook into the next stitch, the top stitch you see right there, with a half double crochet. Let's move everything out the way so it doesn't blur for you. Straight into the post with a half double crochet. Into the stitch with a half double crochet. Into your next space with a half double crochet, or your post. Whatever you feel comfortable doing. And into the next stitch there. And into your post. And again, if you want to put it into a space, there's nothing wrong with that either. Big space right there. And post. Or space. No rules. Yeah? She says that she's fighting to get it in the post, but doesn't want to put it in the space. And we're still going to do half double there. I would say one more in that stitch there. And let's have a look. Has it straightened it up a little? Yes. I say we start doing our single crochets now. All right. So this is just a rough guide. You can change the single crochet to half double crochet to suit your eyes. Like, you have a look at it and think, well, I'll start it now, or I'll start it a bit later. There's no rules here. At the end of the day, it'll be a tiny millimetre difference, and once you do the next round, it won't be noticed that much. So I'm on my last 2 rows. What do we do there? One in the stitch. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm still on another section there. Now I'm on my last 2 rows there. And then one in the post. One into your stitch. And one into the post. Before you complete it, go and get your maroon. So continue to cut these tails, that one, the lemon, and there you go. And they're gone. All right, in the meantime, let's attach our maroon. Again, if you've got a very long maroon tail here, or maroon, or however you want to pronounce it, you can use that. Okay, I'm going to pull all those tails at the back. There it is. Pop it over the hook. And pull it through. Now this is all very loose. If you're anything like me, you want to grab it all and tighten it all up. Holding it at the back there, pop your hook into your maroon right there, or maroon, and do your single crochet in the first stitch, single into your second. All right, so what we've got is our 2 stitches there. You might find a lot of this is really tight. I would ignore the tight section. Go into a space right there. 1. And ignore the tight section. However, if the tight section is really loose like that, I would pop a single crochet in there. Single in your next. And there's your tight section. Don't go into it. Go into the next space. If you're not sure, just give it a stretch. And you'll see, some of them might be wide enough for you to go into, and some of them, I'll show you, that's perfect. And right here, that's tight. We wouldn't go into that one. We'd go into the next space. Yeah, wherever you see a big gap, that's where you go. Gap, gap, no gap on that one. Skip over it, go into the big space. Yeah, there is a space on this one. and a space on this one, but no space there. Go into the next. There's a little space there, a little one, none on this one. Go into the next. And we're on our doubles now, so we get to the post and the top of the stitch and then the post. We're going to start our single crochet like so. Drop the maroon. In fact, you know what? Grab everything you see here in your hands there. Grab your new red. Pull that loop through. Holding all the threads there. And you're going to single crochet into your first stitch like so. Once again, this is one of those stitches that come in a little bit. All right, so what I want you to do, let's try the first few. You're in that one. All right, so right there is a single crochet. Yeah. In your next one, single crochet. In your next one, they're tiny little gaps. If you can't see them, stretch it apart to find them. And in your next one, single crochet, hold it there. This is where we're going to start changing to half doubles. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go into that post with a half double crochet. Right into the post. Yeah, into the next stitch, half double. And you can see them, spread them apart there, and you can see those little gaps. Half double, half double, half double. Just keep going all the way across your piece. Now this is a post, so pop it in your post, or you can pop it in the big space. There's no rules. Yep, post. If I can get it in there, we can work. All right, there. Now we are back to this section here. I would change right back to the single crochets now, okay? So single in your top stitch there and single into that top stitch. We're in our double crochets now. So in the top part of the stitch, one into the post, one into the top part of the next stitch, and one into the post, which we're not going to do because we need to change to back over to our orange. Right there. Pulling it through like so. Orange right at the back. And then you're going to start your single crochet right into your first orange. It should be an orange right there. Yeah, it was, but it's half red, half orange. One into whatever next space you come to. And just keep going into spaces across this piece. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of the section. I've got one stitch left there and one post left, and I'm going to change back to my yellow. Alright, but for now just check your stitches. If it looks like there's too many in one spot, take them undone, but that looks okay to me. So start your stitch, drop it, just check. Your yellow might be really long. It's not. Let's grab another yellow, and here we go. All the tails at the back, grab your yellow over your hook, pull through, and every tail you have, tighten it up in your hand, all of them, and place your first single crochet right there into that yellow set, like so. And then into the very next space you see. And does this indent? No. This stays nice and straight. So you're just going to do single crochets. So find another space, a bigger space, a small space, we are pretty close. Oh, we're close. We're on the second last stitch right there. All right, so this one here came across a little tight for me. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It'll be about 18 stitches. A little tight for my liking, but that should be okay. Okay, now grab your lemon right there. And we haven't done our stitch yet. Start the stitch as we do. Pull the loop through. Again, you've got a lemon there. No, lemon's on the other side. Drop that there. Grab your lemon. Pop it over your hook. Pull it through. And single crochet into the first stitch right there. And then into the next kind of space you see. Into your small stitch there, if there is one. Into your next stitch, into your next space, and you kind of see some little lumps in the way. That's okay. Just crochet over them. And into your post, we're going to change to the cream. Grab your cream. Again, if you've got a lot of cream up here, use that, but I don't. So there you go. So we're going to pop all our tails at the back for now. Start your single crochet in the post of the lemon. Grab that at the back. Grab your cream. Get excited. We're at the end of this one side. And then you have another side. Sorry, guys. But that's got to happen. It's part of it all, really. At least you'll know what to do with the other side, yeah? Tails at the back. And in the first stitch right there, single crochet, and I went straight through it. So we want to go into the stitch. It's a little tight, but go into it. It's right there, yeah? And then into the space next to it, into the stitch. Into the stitch, into the space. Alrighty guys, here we are. We have the next, these are the first 2 rows we did, single crochet in the stitch. All right, I just transitioned that because I completed the whole corner and did the whole base and realized I ended up with 130 stitches and not 129. And the reasoning is, I placed a stitch marker here. The reasoning is I went into this stitch as the first one and that stitch as the side, but it's actually not the stitch you need to go into. You need to go into the base of the stitch. So have a careful look. That's 1, 2, 3, and that's your final one there. Okay, so it looks rather full, and you need to go into, I'll show you the top one here, that top stitch. You've been going into the top part of the stitch all along with a single crochet. But what I did was I went into there and then went into there as the corner. So I ended up doing an extra stitch, but not there. I ended up doing 2 extra stitches in the corner. So I ended up with 130. But I don't want that to happen to you. So you're going to ignore that and just jump straight into the corner and you'll know which one it is. That's your second stitch there. This whole section is your first stitch. So just go into the top of that whole section there. And that will be classified as your final stitch on this side. So do your final stitch. Then you'll do a corner stitch, that number 2 in there. Yeah. Pop your stitch marker in there. And then you'll do a third one in there. And then you need to jump right into the very next stitch there, like so. And you're going actually into the stitch of your post. The initial stitch you started with, the chains, yeah? So your job now, and don't split the yarn like I just did, is to do simply that. Single crochet into every stitch all the way across. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do that. I would like for you to, let's do that. Single crochet into every stitch all the way across. Get to your very next corner with that tail right there. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Make sure you cut all your colours off and get them ready for the opposite side. All right, go ahead and do that row now and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, how did you go? I found that was really tight for me. The stitches, the chains from the first row that we did, my hand is sore right there. Don't you love it? Excuse me, moving right along. Also, don't forget to count your stitches along the base of your work. Needs to be exactly the same as the top end. We still have that one last stitch to go. Don't you love it? Here we go. All right, so pull the loop. She's so naughty. Pull the loop through. You want to do a single crochet 1 and a single crochet 2 because this is a corner. Grab your stitch marker. I'm going to take it out of there because I know mine's correct. This is where you count from. You count from, let's bring that out for a minute. You count from there. Let's try that again. Not from there. You count from that stitch right there all the way over to that stitch right there. It should be the same count at the base as it is up the top. All right. But we still had to put a third single crochet in this stitch. Now I realized I was putting my tails at the back before, but that's actually the right side of our work. So the tails should be this way. We're going to fix them up later. Don't stress, yeah? But this one here we can leave in front. All right, so once again, we're going to do the same here as we did on the opposite side. All right, so we're in the first stitch already. We're going to jump. Notice how I bring the tail up here for now. We're going to jump into our post right there with a single crochet. Or you can go into the space, and I've split it. Or you can go into the space, all right? It's whatever suits you. No wrong or right way of doing this part. Into the stitch. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end. I'm right here. So I want to pop my lemon. But guess what? I want this side to match the opposite side. Remember I was talking about that before? So from that stitch marker, the first stitch in front of the marker, right up to that last stitch we're going to do in a minute, needs to be the same as the opposite side. All right, grab your new colour, which is your lemon, or it is for me anyway. So popping your tails at the back this time, because I messed up on the other side, I'm going to pop them forward, okay? Because this is the wrong side of our work. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is the wrong side of our work. So I kind of messed up with the other ones, but we can fix those. Don't worry about them. Pop the tail over your hook, pull your loop through, grabbing your tails, all of them, hold them in front, and do your very first single crochet, which will be in the post right there. 1, and then 1 in the top of the stitch. All right, now this is one that we just got a single crochet across, no bumps or anything. No, good. so I'm here, guys. We have 1 and 2 stitches left. I'm going to do my stitch right there first. And when I do my yellow, I'll move all these tails forward. All right. So let's start. Hook in there. Just going to pass that forward for a minute and pull the loop through, holding everything down. Is there another stitch that I need to do here? No, that's it. So passing everything forward. This is what you're going to do. Is give it a tug, hold it onto it there, get your new color, which is here, over your hook, pull it through. It's a little awkward, guys. It's just this initial row. After this row, everything gets easier, trust me. And you want to pop your yellow in that first stitch there with a single crochet. And single in your next stitch, hold it there. Do yourself a favor, count your stitches across this way, count your stitches across this way, on the opposite side, count there and count there, marry them up. If they don't marry up, I would suggest adding your stitch now or taking your stitch off now before we do the next round. All right, so go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, we're going to continue each double crochet. You have double crochets across there, so it should be, I'm far away, but you don't really need to see what I'm doing because it's in the post and then in the stitch. Yeah, all the way up. All right, so I'm going to pop this on fast, get to this section right here, and I will meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of this section. Again, count your stitches to make sure they marry the other side. We do have one more here, so hold on to that while we get some some orange. And let's do that now. Oh, by the way, making sure you are cutting your threads as you're going along. There's the lemon. We're going to cut that one and get it out the way because there's way too many skeins of yarn on the table. All right, so grabbing your, and I'm going to cut my cream too. We don't need that until we get to the end. And the next time we add the cream, we are not cutting. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, now we're going to make our last stitch right there. Hook in. And this has been twisted and done all sorts of things to this yarn. I don't know what happened. But anyway, drop your thread forward, grab your orange, pull the loop through, tails forward for this part because this is the wrong side of our work. I should have done that before, as I said, but doesn't matter, we'll do that now. Single crochet into, let's try that again. Single crochet into the post of your orange and single crochet into that space. And once again, this is one of those things where you are just finding spaces to single crochet into. Right, I'm at the end, and once again count your section here and count your section here. I'm not going to do that, not want to waste your time, but make sure you count them. And I better cut this lemon. Oh, try saying yellow, Mary. The lemon was the lighter colour. Come on, woman. Okay, so now we're going to grab the red yet again, and let's do that. Okay, so what you want to do is pass, no you don't, you want to start your orange, passing that tail forward. She's just too far away, isn't she? Grabbing your red, pull the loop through, passing that tail forward, and single crochet into the post of this red. And if you can't find it, just go into the space. I'm going into the post. I do want to go into it. There. All right. And then into the stitch. Now, is this one of those ones? It is, where we need to do some half doubles. All right, keep that in mind. So we're going to single into the next post. Single into the next stitch. Single into your next post. Single into the next stitch. And this is where we're going to start our half doubles. See how it indents? So we're going to start half doubles and we'll go up to about, I don't know, let's just say 1, 2, around there, okay? So don't stress, I'll tell you when to stop, okay? So single, we're doing half doubles. Come on, Mary. Half double in that next space, half double in your next, 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 and again in your next. Where are we? A little bit more. Next, and next, and then we start on the singles here. Just have a look. If you find it too high, like too tall, but I think that's perfect. All right, so now we're single into that post. Don't split the yarn like I just did. Single into the post. Looks like it's one of those things that's just going to keep splitting. No, that's good. Single into the stitch. Single into the post. And your last single will go into that stitch. Grab your red, passing it forward, tighten it up a little bit, pass it forward, pop your maroon over your hook, pull that loop through, pass your tail forward, holding both those tails. You're going to start your single crochet in the base of this, in the base of that post, right there. Gorgeous. And into your next stitch. Alrighty guys, I just put that on fast because at the end of the day, it was just plain single crocheting all the way across. The difference here is you need to make sure, once again, that both these sides match because some of them we didn't go in on this side. Make sure your count is correct on both sides. Gorgeous. What you're going to do is start, oh, it's so dark, sorry guys. Start your single crochet, passing it forward. Grabbing your red, pass your tail forward. It's a really long tail. Let's bring that out a bit. There you go. All right, and single crochet into your first red post. Or around it, whichever's easier for you. I like going into the post, to be fair. That's just me. We've got one there, single, and one there, single. One there, single. This is the ones where we just do our singles and half doubles. We don't need to do any two together. All right, and we're getting close to the half doubles. Keep doing. We'll do the single. I think I'm going to run out of thread on this one. I don't have enough red. I have to join another red. Can you believe it? There we go. All right, so I'm going to start my half doubles now and see I'm going to run out of thread. You keep going. And your half double is yarn over your hook, into your stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, do it again. And my next one, I'm going to have to add another red. Look at that. Stealing this from other projects, look at it. It was part of a granny square. All right, so we are in that stitch. You want to go into your next with a half double and into the post with a half double. We might need to start straightening up to singles now. Yes, I would go into your next stitch as a single, 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 and single. Make sure you count your red across this way, your stitches there, and your stitches over there. I'm going to do that off air. I'm not going to bother you because this tutorial is going a long time and I want you to get on with it. I want you to get on with it. Get on with it. Yeah. Start your next single, pass it forward, grabbing your orange. Get on with it. Pop your tail over your hook, pull the loop through, pass your tail forward. She's rushing, guys. This is taking like 100 years, this tutorial. And single crochet into your first post of the stitch. Single into your actual stitch. All right, this one here, singles all the way across. You don't need me to help you with this one. I will put it on fast and you can actually slow your video down and off we go. All right, that was our post, and now we're going to do our next stitch in the next one. Remember to marry up the count from the opposite side. Marry it up. If it doesn't match up, add one, take one off, make it match. Yeah. Don't forget we are doing one more right there. Pass your orange forward, grabbing your yellow over your hook. Pull the loop through and pass that tail forward as well. And pull it real tight so it's right out of your way so you can jump into that first post right there. All right, so this one, simple, simple, single crochet all the way across. All right, how'd you go? I'm going to pop the hook in the next stitch, pull a loop through, pass the tails forward, grab your lemon. All right, so you've got your lemon, passing everything forward. Yarn over your hook, pull a loop through. Once again, make sure your stitches marry up to the opposite side. If they don't, change them to suit now. Don't fix the other side, fix this side. Otherwise, you have to take the whole thing undone. It takes too long, yeah? All right, so go into your lemon post right there, any one of those stitches, if you can, and into the stitch. This is the one where we need to do the two together, and it's kind of like the opposite now. It's not the same way. So stay focused. We're not just two together and some half double crochets as well. So it can be a little tricky. So we've done our two already. Let's do a second one, third one there, sorry, and your fourth one right next to it. Okay, we're getting into the shell section. I don't know, first thing we do is pop a single crochet in that one for starters. Then a single crochet in that space there, and one in the actual big space, around the whole space. Yeah. Now we're going to do single crochet this space and that tiny little stitch together. So into the space and into the stitch together. All right, because it's the opposite side to the other side. A little tricky to remember, but now we're going to change to half doubles. We might have to take that undone and change to half doubles to be fair. Take 2 stitches undone, we'll do it again. We're here, we're going to go half double, yarn over your hook in the space and do a normal half double like so. Then we're going to do half double in the same space and the next stitch together. Yeah, so do your half double, so yarn over your hook, start it in the space, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook again into the stitch, pull through, you should have 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, yarn over your hook into the space, yarn over your hook, back into the space, yarn over your hook again, and into the stitch, 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, yarn over your hook into the stitch right there. All right, now yarn over your hook into the space with 1, and then yarn over your hook 2 together between the big space and the little space. In, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook again into the stitch, pull a loop through, 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, and do a half double in the next stitch like so. All right, and the same thing again, you're going to pop a half double in the space, half double 2 together into the space, yarn over your hook again into the stitch, pull a loop through, 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. We're going to do a single crochet in that stitch right there instead of your half double. All right, and here you're doing a single crochet 2 together. Start your single crochet, jump into the next space, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, do a single crochet in the space, and then a single crochet into that stitch. There's 2 here, you need to put 2 more. 1 into the stitch right there, pass the tail down there, and do your single crochet there. So go into that stitch before you do, just move that tail out the way for a minute, into the stitch, pull a loop through, pass your tail forward, pass all tails forward, grabbing your new cream there. Pull the loop through, passing your tail forward, single crochet into the new cream. Right there, single into your next, single into your next post and your stitch, and so on all the way up. Alrighty guys, I'm up to my last double crochet row, but we already have some single crochets here, so be careful. We're going into the stitch before it and into the post of the stitch like so, and then into the stitch with our 2 single crochets from the beginning of the round. We're going to slip stitch into this stitch like so. Oof, that took forever. That was the most difficult part of this part 1 of the section. Now you're just going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work and pop a single crochet in that first single crochet. It was actually the last one that you just did. Pop a second one in there. Oops, actually, you need to pop the stitch marker in that first one that we just did. Sorry, guys. So pop a stitch marker there, and you've got a second white there. Now you're going to pop a single crochet in each stitch all the way across, making sure your numbers added up. If they didn't add up, change them to suit. Yeah. So guess what? That's pretty much it. That is all I want you to do now. And what I'm going to do quickly is just get past these cream stitches here. All right, how'd you go? We're right at the very last cream there. And then we start our lemon right over it, like so. And every lemon stitch all the way across. I don't think I need to show you any more. What I will do is tell you to do this. If your stitch count is the same on this side as it is on the other, then you are okay. If not, you need to take this undone and adjust your colours. Once you're ready to single crochet across all the piece, not worrying about any colours, you're single crocheting in your cream now. This is the right side of the work that we're working on. So we are single crocheting into every stitch all the way across using the cream. All right, cut all your colours. You will no longer need your colours for the rest of this blanket. Get excited. We're working just on the cream. That doesn't mean that you won't need your colours. It means that I'm not using my colours, that when we start to do those border rounds, because we haven't done them yet, this is just a base border rounds. When we start doing the border rounds, that you can actually use some of your other colours. And we can talk about that in part 2 of this step. Yeah. In the meantime, do a single crochet in every stitch, get to, let's bring this down a bit. All right, single crochet in every stitch, get to your very first corner. This is why I got you to put corners, stitch markers in every corner. Get to your first corner, meet me there once you're done, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. I'm on my third last stitch, going into the second last stitch there. One into the stitch with your stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker for a minute. Do the second one in there. Replace that stitch marker in that stitch there. And then do a third one in there. So in every corner you come to, you need to place 3 single crochets, okay? All right, now we are going to place a single crochet into each stitch across the top. All right, so if you were to do your count along your side seams now, which we're not going to bother yet, we'll talk about count when we return back in part 2, okay? But if you were to count the stitches that you made right now across here, they should be the same as you're going to make on the opposite side. All right, so your opposite sides, once you go around, should match in count, because you've already counted with the yellow to the yellow, the lemon to the lemon, the orange to the orange, and so on. All right, so I hope that made sense. The reason I'm telling you this is because let's first focus on, I'll just show you quickly, and I'll talk about why I'm telling you in a minute, this tail here. Now, it's on the right side of our work. I'm sorry, we'll go back again. You see how you can tell you're on the right side of your work. You see this particular pattern, it's got the bumps on top. This is not the orange that's here, but the orange that's here has the bumps on top. That is the right side of your work. So if there's any tail on this side, which is the right side, you need to grab your sewing needle, and you can do that now because you know your count is correct along the side there. Gorgeous. And you need to just, let's get a close up for you. Literally split that right there. If you pull it up tight, you can find out where it's coming from. Go into that gap and sew it through to the other side, because this is the wrong side of our work. And now what you're going to do is weave this little guy in. Now, this is the reason why I'm telling you this, to do this now, because once you do this one, when you do the rest of the blanket, you're going to do the same with the rest of the blanket. And on the opposite side of our work, I forgot to tell you to pass your tails to the front, I think it was, instead of the back. I forgot to tell you to do that. All right, so really you should have, I did leave a little disclaimer, so you shouldn't have many. You should just have this one tail, which we're weaving in now. But if you did what I did, which is easy to happen because I kept forgetting, then you will find, turn your work around, yeah, then you will find you'll have a lot of tails on this side of your work. All right, let's just do this one here real quickly. And as you can see, I'm just popping them, and I'm checking to see if you can see the needle from the front. I'm just popping my threads anywhere. There's no rules to how you weave your tails in, but a little tip from me, occasionally I split some stitches and even some threads from the stitches, like that one there. I will split, and there's two split there. And the thing with split stitches is the thread struggles to come out of split stitches. So just keep that in mind. Doesn't always work, but it works well with this particular piece. So there you go. Now I'm just going to cut this one right here, and that's done. All right, there you go. What you need to do now, and this is where part 2 is coming into play. We're going to finish part 1 by doing single crochets all the way across your shorter section. You're going to get to that stitch marker, place 3 single crochets in there, and then single crochet all the way across this messy section. Don't you love it? And then 3 single crochets in there, yep. And then single crochet along the base until you get to the very first stitch marker, the very first turn. We did our single crochet and turned, the very first turn, all right? When you get to the end of the round, meet me there, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, thank you very much for joining us for part 1 of our border rounds of the 12-step transition blanket. Please join us on Tuesday of this week or Thursday, depending on when I get the actual video edited, and we will complete the 12-step transition blanket. My name is Mary, and this is Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.